At WrestleMania 33, over 70,000 people cried when they saw their hero, the legend, the myth, and the icon himself, The Undertaker, take off his hat, trench coat, and gloves that he's known for, and put them in the middle of the ring and slowly walked away, descending down underneath the stage. And as people chanted for The Undertaker not to go, to not give up the career that he's made, even though I countered that statement with hip replacement surgery and whatnot. Everyone chanted saying, please don't go. Well, mostly they chanted Undertaker and some were chanting no because they knew, yeah, this is the end. And then, as the cheers stopped, and as Undertaker disappeared into the arena, even though a fire broke out at WrestleMania 33 near the end. Thank God that was insane. And thank God no one was hurt. The anger began to mount. The festering of hatred and despair was now being replaced. Now they found something to blame. The scumbag of wrestling, Vincent Kennedy? No, actually, it's Roman Reigns. Come on, guys. Like, seriously. Like, at this point, I'm pretty sure they believe Roman Reigns books the show so far. Like, seriously. Like, I would have expected the fans of at Raw after WrestleMania to develop a brain and say that this is Vince's fault. He booked Roman Reigns to be like this. He booked The Undertaker to lose at WrestleMania. I mean, like, the retirement part, that was understandable because I don't know, he needs something called hip replacement surgery, but let's ignore that logical factor at times. But, yeah, the hatred built and built and built for the next 24 hours until Monday Night Raw started, and we see a video package of The Undertaker's final match against Roman Reigns, and they're all chanting, Undertaker! Undertaker for God knows how many minutes, I think 5, and then slowly but surely, all that Undertaker chant slowly started to lower as the Roman suck chant started to rise, which could mean that Vince might have this perspective in his state of insanity that he'll believe that Roman Reigns is bigger than The Undertaker now with those cheers, in his twisted logic. And then you start hearing Undertaker chants less, and the Roman sucks chants are rising. And then all of a sudden, to open the show, what do we start out the Raw after WrestleMania? Let Roman Reigns show up, because God knows that's a good idea. And by God, was they vicious this time. Like, this is the most vicious crowd I ever saw. Well, unless they decide to throw garbage in the ring and incite a riot, like in ECW days or in WCW. Yeah, and I don't mean that ECW that no one likes to talk about. We're talking about old ECW, old school ECW, how things were things where everyone was cool, everyone partied like it was 1999, even though it was 1999 at one point. So, yeah, let's see. The anger has grown, and now they found someone to blame, even though the clear guy who's to blame is at the top of the mountain of the corporate ladder. But no, we gotta blame the guy who has no say whatsoever, has no direction whatsoever, and probably Undertaker wanted to lose to Roman Reigns, even though he has a say about the streak in a way, because it's been obviously potent. And now let's get right into it. Roman Reigns goes out. And the audience are raining down boos. He gets into the ring, grabs a microphone, and walks around where all the audience are just booing and telling him he sucks. And then all of a sudden, due to this being the most insane crowd of the year, back then it used to be almost every crowd, and the Raw after WrestleMania was 10 times louder than the Raws during Ruthless Aggression days and Attitude Era days. And now they're chanting, fuck you, Roman! Fuck you, Roman! And then Roman Reigns rises the microphone to his face, and he's about to say something, but then the audience boos again and tells him to shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. And it gets worse and worse as time goes on. Like, Roman Reigns is just standing there walking and then walks around a bit. He just taps his vest, acting like he's wiping dust off of it, adjusting his wristbands, as if, okay, yeah, keep just going. I can do this all day. And it gets even crazier. Like, he raises the microphone again to try and speak. The audience boos louder. And then they tell him to, Roman sucks! Roman sucks! Roman sucks! Roman sucks! And it just gets worse and worse. It's saying, where they're just saying whatever they can at the top of their lungs. They're saying, delete, 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 delete. And it just gets even worse. Roman Reigns rises the microphone up to his face again to try and speak. The audience boos again, and he just lowers the microphone again, looking like he's pretty pissed off now. And then he just places a hand on his, then he just places a hand on his other hand and rubs it a little bit, like, come on guys, like, we got time here. Though of course there's also a dispute saying like, oh, keep doing it, I have you all in the palm of my hands. Like, he mouthed something, but there were two speculations. One was saying that, oh, he was saying, come on guys, we have all day to do this. And the other was, oh, I have you all in the palm of my hands. I know what you want me to say and want me to do. And yet, then then the audience are chanting, go away, go away, go away, go away. And that's when I started questioning a little bit, like, how badly do you want Reigns to go away? Do you want him to get hurt and then retire, or do you want him to, pull a death angle, except in reality? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to reach that point soon. And the chants just get worse and worse, and then Roman Reigns finally picks up the microphone again, raises it to his face, and is about to say something. And the audience boos louder and louder. And Roman finally says, having enough of all this, says, this is my yard now. And then drops the microphone, much to the dismay and anger of the audience, and then just walks away like a badass. And by God, was that angle segment was awesome. I loved it. Like, this was probably Roman Reigns' best promo. He just said 5 simple words, and all of a sudden he drew the biggest hateful reaction since probably Hulk Hogan's heel turn in WCW. Though, of course, it probably doesn't really mount up to it, more like rivals it, but not really at the, like, it's the shocking heel turn of all time. It's more like, oh, we hate this, so we're going to just destroy it on television. And by God, like I said, the segment was awesome. Like, I was waiting. I knew this was going to happen. Everyone in the whole world knew, I'm sure of it, knew that Roman Reigns would open Raw and they would address this. And they didn't, technically. He just says, this is his yard now. And he doesn't acknowledge The Undertaker. He just basically disrespected The Undertaker, and, like, that pissed fans even more off. Like, they wanted to strangle him. And, like, it was just so crazy seeing the audience chant, delete, go away, asshole, shut the fuck up, fuck you, Roman. They were all saying every vulgar language in the book. And even crazier, Roman Reigns is the full-time guy that has the top merchandise sales. And I'm pretty sure if fans are this passionate in every other show, that's going to go away soon. And now I'm thinking, like, okay, picture the guy in a suit and doing all the same things. He's just walking around. He just adjusts his tie, adjusts his sleeve collar, and just basically says this is his yard now. And the audience would boo even louder, I bet. And Roman Reigns just was smiling, yes, feed me your anger, strike me down in all your hatred. And, like, this was, he didn't explain his actions, he didn't pander, he didn't care that he was surrounded by an audience that would rather see him be obliterated and most likely massacred and dead. Yeah, I'm pretty sure people are wanting him to see him dead at this point, if they're at that extreme level. Like Sabu said hopefully he was doing something else when he tweeted this. He hoped Roman Reigns overdosed. And there were people agreeing with Sabu. Yeah, I'm not kidding still. I'm not letting that go. And the level of heat, like, now it's like, if this continues, like, I know the Raw crowds afterwards won't be as big as Raw after WrestleMania, and there are word that he might move to SmackDown, which will draw even more heat because SmackDown was the opportunity show, and if they show what they've done to Raw, making it the Roman Reigns show, even though he's not the world champion, they'll probably turn SmackDown into Roman Reigns' show, which will piss everybody off. And heck, I might be pissed off at booking for that if they really go forward with this, but I'm hoping Ryan Ward and Road Dogg can do the impossible and make a coherent show with Roman Reigns, but make him not as the center focus or the unstoppable juggernaut. Oh, wait, if I called him an unstoppable juggernaut, that would sound cool. I mean Superman or Super Cena 2.0. And yeah, there was like one disappointing thing about this show, besides the Revival debating on Raw. I rather have seen them on SmackDown if you saw my previous video, is that Vince was at the show, and everyone now at this point should know that Vince isn't really in touch with the times anymore, isn't in touch with us. He's at war with us. Like, everyone has said the same thing. Like, even journalists have been saying it. People have been saying that Vince is in this war, has engaged in a war against the fans over Roman Reigns' direction. And Vince's orders of don't say this, don't do this, write this, and Vince's logical explanation, and I put that in quotations heavily, of Roman Reigns, oh, he's a heel, we're just booking him differently. And I'm like, no, that's not that is not that I'm not even gonna, I don't. Okay, this is the part, if I was listening to this, I would change the channel the second he said that. And the fans at the show had the opportunity of a gold mine to tell Vince off. They had a chance to tell him, out of touch, out of touch, out of touch. But no, they just chanted Roman sucks, and Vince looked kind of surprised at that, like, wait, what? You all think Roman sucks? And I wouldn't be surprised if that was true, because Vince just so has lost his mind at this point, I believe, that he actually would think that when they chant Roman sucks, he thinks they're chanting Roman rocks, but when he directly goes to the show and is in person and in the ring, he's hearing something else, and that surprises him. Like, I really wanted him to get booed by the fans, because even though this is Vince McMahon, who's done so much for the business, he's kind of becoming a detriment now. I wanted Vince to be booed, to be declared out of touch by the fans, and also saying that you screw Roman. Yeah, that probably would have been taking it too far. But that was the perception with fans. Like, everyone suspects that Vince is sleeping with Reigns. Well, I don't say suspect, more like fantasizes that that's how Reigns is getting booked. That Vince loves big, sweaty guys. Like that jobber saying about Braun Strowman. Like, that was just weird. Like, I get they were trying to incorporate LGBT things, but that was just do Billy and Chuck. Like, that worked. Though it turned out to be a publicity stunt at the end, but that you could have done that booking, but no, you just decide, oh, let's do this. But Roman Reigns is now, oh god, back to Roman Reigns' segment. Roman Reigns at this point, like, he's a heel. That's all I'm saying. Like, I've been saying this for a couple of weeks now. He's a heel at this point. He's going against The Undertaker, a timeless character that everybody loves, including Mark Calloway. And they think that, oh, they'll cheer for Reigns. He's bigger than The Undertaker, in Vince's twisted mind. But it's not nostalgia that blinds the fans when it comes to The Undertaker. Undertaker's a timeless guy. He's a timeless character. He has been loyal to this company, has done so much for this company, and they kind of feel like Undertaker's cheated a lot because, okay, let's see. When they make a cartoon version of him for the Flintstones movie, I just call BS on that. I'm not kidding. Or put him in a Scooby-Doo movie, even though Undertaker doesn't seem suited for that. His character, at least. And like, Vince McMahon decrees by law that he should go against Brock Lesnar again because fuck his health, even though his health should be more important. We need to make as much money as possible out of this. I get they're a business, but still, there's a morality to be played here. But no, we have to screw morality here and just go crazy. So now Roman Reigns, I don't know what's going to happen on the Raw after WrestleMania. That's going to be interesting. Is every place going to boo him now? Like, I was expecting a riot. Like, I was expecting at least one fan to jump the barricade and try to attack Reigns. That was how bad I thought the heat was. I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll have to see in the coming months. But Roman Reigns' time as a, quote, face is dead. There's no recovering from this unless they have the balls to turn him heel. Like, could you imagine the gold mine? Like, Dalek's Men, man, I'm pretty sure I butchered the name, a popular YouTuber who talks about wrestling, said that they could try to make him a face, but yet come up with a unique character for him, which is impossible given that the creative department sucks, mostly on Raw. And Vince McMahon's stubbornness to not make him a unique character, just make him a carbon copy of Superman. Like, John Cena, if he had been The Undertaker and retired him, fans would be chanting the same. Fans would be mad as hell about that. But Cena has the charisma, unfortunately, to persuade the audience to his side. Roman Reigns doesn't have that. He doesn't have that ability. That's a thing that grows over time. And at this point, he doesn't have that ability. So Roman Reigns just saying those 5 words was the best shot they could make with this. He didn't offer I did to do this and that. Like, I respect The Undertaker. Like, no one cares. No one cares if you respected The Undertaker. You retired him. You're now the most hated guy in the company. And he doesn't have Paul Heyman to try and convince the fans either. Because remember when Brock Lesnar beat Undertaker at WrestleMania for the first time? And the audience were just chanting hatred at him? They eventually joined over when Paul Heyman reasoned with them with his spectacular theatrics and promos, and they got on his side. Roman Reigns doesn't have that ability or a manager to do that. Granted, it would have been interesting if they had him managed if he was managed by Eva Marie, because the two most hated wrestlers, one's a wrestler and the other's a model, who is not a good wrestler, I'll be honest about that, and pair them together, and that would have been glorious. And don't get me wrong, I am a huge fan of Roman Reigns. I still am. Like, I wasn't pissed off that The Undertaker retired. I knew it was coming. I just couldn't believe I would cry about that, but still, I knew The Undertaker had to leave. It was his health that was my major concern. Like, every match after Brock Lesnar, I was always freaking out that if they put him in a match that could be dangerous for him, then his hip could give out, or he can suffer an even worse injury than a severe concussion. So I was glad that nothing happened to Undertaker. We should all be glad about that. If he had injured The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33, then we'd be in a riot issue. We would have to call security. WWE would have to have the best security in the world to protect Roman Reigns. That would be how bad it was if Roman Reigns injured The Undertaker. And thank God that didn't happen, because then a riot would definitely break out. And maybe then they would go after Vince's stupidity for even thinking of, hey, let's put him in a no-holds-barred match and have him get speared through a table. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's weaken that hip even more. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Roman Reigns. Like, are they turning him to the dark side? Are they going to do a character shift with him? Like, is he going to be that no-nonsense, no-caring guy who doesn't give a damn about what he does, regardless of the consequences? Because that would be very interesting. And there's just one major advice if they do the face route and they try to make him a unique character. Keep Vince away from him! Okay? Let's do that! So, yeah, those are my thoughts on Roman Reigns' segment on the Raw after WrestleMania. This was an EO Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate, and stay tuned for more.